you're so anticipating this gadget that you're ready to go and wait out at night at the tahajjud time. You're ready to go and wait outside in a long line because you're anticipating, you love this gadget, you just can't wait to have your hands on it. Do you feel the same way when it comes to learning Arabic or when it comes to learning the Quran? You see, when you do something for Islam, for Allah, you feel a sense of delight. You feel a sense of pleasure. Islam becomes fun in that sense. You love to do Islam. You love to do the work of Allah. And if that happens in your life, then that's a good sign that Allah loves you. Because Allah is making it such that you become so happy when you do something for the sake of Allah. When you give in the way of Allah, are you hesitant? Are you thinking that your bank account just went down? Are you thinking you're losing money? Does shaitan come to you and say, I wonder how they're going to spend that money? Or are you pleased in spending that money and you know that you're going to give as much as you can because you're confident that Allah will replace it? That's the promise of Allah. How good do you feel when you're practicing your Islam? When you wear your hijab, are you happy? Are you pleased? Or is it a chore? Or are you doing it because your friends are doing it? When other people around you are cursing, do you keep quiet? Do you not curse? All for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Or do you go ahead and participate with everybody else and do as everybody else is doing? How much do you love to work for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? If you love to do it, that's a sign that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves you. And the more delighted you are, the more pleasure you get, the more fun you have in doing all the things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has asked you to do, the more you can sense that Allah loves you. Brothers and sisters, you know, every time you make the salah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala turns His face towards you. Turns His face towards you. Imagine the pleasure that you get, but you have to feel it. Brothers and sisters, you know, another sign that comes from all of this is when you have troubles in your life, when you go through trials, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, through His love, makes it possible for you to manage these trials, for you not to be bothered so much by these troubles, and you don't lose your sense of judgment, and you're calm about things. You're at peace that this is a decree of Allah and I can get over this. And through the love of Allah, you can be patient. Very, very patient, no matter what happens. You're ready to go through any trial, as a matter of fact. No trial can faze you, whether you lose a job, whether it's a physical injury, whether it's cancer, whatever it may be. Because the love of Allah is there, and you know that Allah will only do what is good for you. You know, brothers and sisters, when it comes to remembering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and remembering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala being the first sign that Allah puts in you, and you know that Allah is loving you that much more, the more frequently you remember Allah. You know, one of the great scholars of Islam, Sheikh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah, he pointed out about his constant remembrance of Allah. One time somebody asked him, how are you going to remember Allah when they put you in prison, and when they torture you, and when they do all those things that they do in prison? So he said, you know, مَا يَصْنَعُ أَعْدَائِي بِي, what in the world is my enemies, what are they going to do to me after all? أَنَا جَنَّتِي وَبُسْتَانِي فِي صَدْرِي, my paradise and my garden is in my chest. Is in my chest. What are they going to do with me? What are they going to do? In other words, he was saying, look, they can't do anything to me. And he goes on and he talks about the fact that, look, if they were to imprison me, then it's khalwa for me. Then this is a chance for me to remember Allah alone. And if they kill me, then that's shahada. That's most pleasing to Allah. And if they extradite me, and if they put me out of the country, then it's an opportunity for me to have a tour of the lands of Allah, where I can remember Allah at that time. In all circumstances, he remembers Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Brothers and sisters, the second sign when it comes to delight, that whatever you do for the sake of Allah, and you find pleasure in doing it, Islam becomes fun to you at that point, and it becomes a delight, a pleasure. I want to remind you of an example, of an incident that happened in our history. One of our pious predecessors, one of our scholars, one time he went to one of the oppressors, one of the rulers in Egypt. His name was Ibn al-Qulun. And this ruler in Egypt, he was ruthless. He had killed about 18,000 Muslims. And the way he would kill the Muslims is not just by killing them and finishing with them, no. It was a slow death. It was, the way that he would kill the Muslims is that he would starve them to death. He would starve any Muslim who was a practicing Muslim, he would starve them to death. He would not give them anything to eat or drink. So, this scholar, he went to this ruler and he told him that, look, what you're doing is not right. Because the scholar knew that, you have to speak the truth. Even if it's an oppressor, you have to speak the truth. You have to speak up. So he went to the ruler and he said, look, what you're doing is wrong. And you're killing all these Muslims, and Allah will hold you accountable for this, and you cannot, this is wrong, what you're doing. It's not right. So the ruler said, oh yeah? And he arrested him. And he said, but for you, there's going to be a special punishment. Because you came and talked to me like this, for you, there's going to be a different punishment. And what he did, he arrested the scholar, and for about a week or so, he starved a lion. He starved a lion. After a week, he had his people dig a huge pit, and the entire town